in the hot seat, baby. Welcome along to the Benchwarmers podcast, live from the Export Beer Garden studio. And you got me, your starting centre, Storme Hitaua. And joining me to my right, fresh out of sliding into Kendall Jenner's DMs, is the notorious pants man himself, Joel Harrison. G'day, mate.
Welcome to your last podcast, Storm.
And well, let's get to that in a minute. Whilst we also introduce our special guest host for today, promoted from the G-Unit League. It's Keezy from the Big Show. G'day, mate.
G'day, fellas. Pleasure to be here.
It's a
Thanks
pleasure
for
to have
bringing
you.
me in. Yeah.
Finally, a little bit of credibility in the sporting world.
Yeah, I reckon. Even if I'm just on like a two-way sort of contract, I'll come in and out, maybe be here for 10 days, then leave, go back to the G-Unit League,
exactly.
And then I'll be back.
Well, it's quite nice because we've had a radio Hauraki breakfast bump.
Yeah.
We've managed to get a Jono and Ben bump.
Yeah,
and
we have.
Oh, yeah?
It's finally nice to see what the Big Show bump could do for the Benchwarmers podcast.
It's going to blow those other bumps out of the water.
Sixth man. You reckon you could be sixth man of the year so far? Or fourth man?
Oh, no, I'm starting point guard.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so if you don't mind moving back to the bench, that's how it's going to work now that I'm on the potty.
I was playing centre, but I think Storm is now as well. So, yeah, I can go to the seventh man.
Just look, while you two are fighting, it seems like you got some pent-up energy. Last night, netball game didn't go your way or did go your way?
No, it did go away. Don't
Massively.
worry. It was a great game. One for the ages.
We got a hot start, then we all buttoned off a bit, didn't we? And then they started coming back hard out, but then with about 2 minutes to go, Joel hit a couple of clutch two-pointers to seal the deal.
My boy.
It was great. Keezy was great as well.
Yeah.
Not on the second game he played, though. Apparently they went down 60-0 or something.
60-12.
6-12, sorry. Yeah.
Man, you guys just kiss already. Jeez, relax. Look, before we get into the starting five, I do want to take a moment here. As I mentioned earlier on, Joel sliding out of Kendall Jenner's DMs. Devin Booker has become a new member of a quite specific exclusive group in the NBA, joining the likes of James Harden, Tristan Thompson, Ben Simmons, Jordan Clarkson, and Blake Griffin as the active players in the Kardashian-Jenner Dusted Club. So, and my boy's lost his little bump that he normally gets.
So did he get dumped?
Well, they broke up amicably because apparently their schedules don't match. But
Yeah, when he's on the road, she's at home. When she's on the road, he's at home, you know. So.
yeah, and when he's on that other girl, she's at home.
It didn't seem to affect him, though. I was watching his game against the Jazz on Saturday. It was a great game as well. And I think he got 49 points and like 100 fantasy points. So he was fine. He couldn't miss.
Yeah. Well, something I want to talk about later on in the show, actually, is the alter egos of some of the NBA superstars. But before we do this, I actually had noticed and found some footage of a guy who had just listened to the one of the Benchwarmers podcast episodes, and this is him reacting to it.
What's this gonna be? Oh! Are you kidding me?
He couldn't believe it. He was just so stoked just to hear that was just him listening to the start. I can't imagine what it was like listening to the rest of the podcast.
Was that the reverse dunk?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
No, that was him listening to
that was when I named
Benchwarmers podcast.
That was the stat bunker. That's when I went down to the stat bunker.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. Far out. So that's the Hornets announcer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Hum diddly dee.
Hum diddly dee. How do you do?
All righty. It's time to get into your starting five.
This is the starting five for the Benchwarmers.
Y'all ready for this? Looking back at the week that was from the NBA and the top five talking topics, at least for us here in the Benchwarmers. First thing we'll start with is Giannis and Harrel getting into a bit of an argument, which seemed like it didn't really paint Antetokounmpo in a very good light. I don't know if you've seen the video, but Giannis missed, I think, 11 free throws that night. Essentially left 11 points on the court, which they lost to the Sixers in that game, did they? And so he went and tried to go in and do some post-match free throw shooting. There was guys trying to take the nets down. The ladder was in the way. Giannis pushed once, pushed twice. The ladder fell over. It looked really bad. And I don't know if any of y'all saw this.
Didn't see it, sorry.
You didn't see it?
Didn't see it.
Was it because you guys were scoring mean-ass buckets in your netball game?
Yeah. Bro, we were out there playing netty.
Oh, sweet.
But all I can say is, like, if Giannis goes, 4 for 15, right? That is... Because he actually has improved his free throw shooting. That was always the one thing that slowed him down a bit, and his outside shooting. If he wants to stay late and just hit 10 free throws in a row, this is one of the greatest athletes on the planet, and some dude who's like, sorry, mate, got to take the nets down, got to get home. Just sit and watch Giannis hit some free throws, surely, you know?
Well, that's what everyone was saying. It's like, what do you have to do, ladder man? Like, just sit, relax.
Just chill out, man.
But what happened was, how do you say, is it Harrel?
Montrez Harrel.
Montrez Harrel. He wanted to do a little bit of mahi on the other side of the court. So they both ended up at the same court at one point. Harrel kicked to Giannis down to the other side, and that's where the ladder man was, trying to get the nets off.
Right.
Next minute, furore explodes. Giannis, I think, kind of apologized, but not really. Harrel kind of said, like, this is our home court. If you want to practice, you do that shit on your own pace.
Harrel's a bit like that. He used to play for the Clippers, right, which is my team, and I used to love his energy, but he gets real aggressive about shit, and I think he's even more aggressive because he's not getting that many minutes for the Sixers.
Yeah, producer Adam?
Yeah, well, he stole the ball as he was about to take his eighth. And so it was extremely babyish and childish. So he stole the ball, and then he walked off with it, wouldn't give it back. Giannis is trying to invite him to shoot with him, to say, hey, if you want to get some more shots up, let's do it. And then he goes back inside. Giannis grabs 2 more balls, walks out with his trainer, continues his shooting drill to start again. And then one of his brothers comes out, and then Harrel wanted to fight his brother on half court. He's a munter.
And seriously, Montrez can use the free throw practice as well. He should be practicing with Giannis because he's terrible.
Just on the court as well.
Well, at free
that's-
throws, I mean, because he was mean for a bit there, but his free throws were always, he'd hit like 50%.
He kind of had that one period where he's kind of the guy as well, but he really puts off like Patrick Beverley energy, just like a guy who butts a lot louder.
He is.
And then you're on the court, you're like, ugh, trash. Like for someone who talks a lot of shit, like you should be a lot better. And I always gauge it from fantasy as well. And in our fantasy league, which you and I are part of the same fantasy league there, Keezy, is Harrel, I think Harrel's not
He's
being
on the
picked up.
wire, man.
Yeah.
No, he's
Nobody wants him.
averaging like 2 points, 2 rebounds a game or something. So.
I was going to say, I've never seen him in my fantasy league at all this year as well.
Nah, he's garbage because he's behind old Embiid.
Yeah.
When he gets time on a team that sucks and he gets heaps of usage, he can be really good. But I don't think his style of play leads to winning basketball games.
Can you imagine someone like a Harrel doing this to say a Kobe Bryant or an MJ?
What do you?
Telling them to get down to the other side of the court.
I think that's what you have to do, right? This is what Patrick Beverley's good at. Is I don't care if you're a superstar. You're still my enemy or whatever, blah, blah. I get that. But the game's over. The Sixers have won. Giannis just wants to practice his free throws.
Sort of shit out.
We get it. People are there in the stadium. That's when you give each other a bit of crap. But just chill out, I reckon. But that's my attitude. I'm a very relaxed guy, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Very chill.
Surely there's like another hope he could have gone to, or was there none?
There's only the 2 in the whole stadium.
Yeah. What about the whole city?
The whole of Philadelphia.
Could they just gone somewhere else in Philadelphia or no?
Well, you get beat up in Philly if you're like not from there, trying to ball out in the random streets.
Even if you're the Greek freak.
Especially if you're the Greek freak.
Have you been to Philly?
Do you know what they love in Philly?
What? Cheesesteak.
Putting Greek yogurt onto their cheesesteaks.
Really?
And they would have looked at Giannis and gone, yeah. Good big source of Greek yogurt right there. I could only assume. Anyway, wanted to wrap up on that one. Montreal, sort your shit out, man. Let Giannis do his thing. That's my opinion on that. Moving on, Kyrie made his return to the Nets after saying some shit he probably shouldn't have, sharing tweets that he probably shouldn't have. It really had like anti-Semitic views in a period where like Kanye was kind of like ruining the music industry with his views and opinions. But he did make his way back. He looked all right. I don't know if you watched the Nets play the other day.
He looked fine. Kyrie was always out with injury, right? And because I have owned him a couple of seasons in my fantasy league.
It's always funny.
He always takes like a week to get back, and then he'll start being a top player. But what I was amazed by is the list he had to tick off. I don't know if he ticked off all those things because the Players Association, which is McCullum, I think Clarkson, and like a few of those guys.
Yeah.
They were basically demanding he comes back to play, and there's not really been any news that I've seen as to whether or not he's fulfilled his obligations.
Well, I know there was one part that he did have to do, which was go to like a Jewish Yeshua meeting and sit with like some Jewish leaders and kind of listen to their perspective. And then he was like, yeah, cool. And I think he took that one off enough to be able to be welcomed back onto the court. And the Knicks actually played some really good basketball. They had the Grizzlies.
The Nets, you
The
mean?
Nets.
No, sorry, the Nets.
Did he get traded to the Nets? Or
I was thinking it's just my fallbacks.
okay,
I was Charlie all weekend for Samoa.
Yeah.
But the Nets actually played really well against the Grizzlies. Okay. Did I say the Nets?
Yes, you did. You're all good, bro. You have some confidence.
You gave me like he just said Knicks again.
No, I was just looking at
mate, if
Joel.
you get it wrong one more time, you might not be welcome back next week.
Yeah. Anyway, the Bulls played a.
Actually, just quickly on Kyrie and the Nets, how good did Ben Simmons look?
For once.
Here's the thing. Who's going to be the better... This is purely fantasy. Who's going to be the better fantasy option by the end of the year, Kyrie or Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons out of playing consistency.
I reckon Kyrie. I reckon Ben Simmons is useless.
Yeah, but did you see that game that he played on the weekend?
Was it 22, 9 and 8 or
something like that?
Yeah.
But he shot, because his thing is he gets high percentage looks. He's really good at finishing around the rim. He just looks good. Whereas Kyrie's going to be in and out. He's going to be injured. He's going to be slurring people off. And whether or not he can make up for that by doing an Uncle Drew video wearing a yarmulke or something, I think that was one of his agreements. Then that's why I think it's quite an interesting question.
Have you ever like got home from work and your wife has the same list that you need to do just to be able to like sit down on the couch?
What do you mean?
Your fiance?
Oh, a list of stuff.
Yeah, list of shit to do. Like as soon as I get to the house, it's like, here's the shit you need to do before you even get a little bit of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by a little bit of this?
Dinner.
Yeah.
It's like, apologize to the Jewish community, make the bed.
Yeah.
Donate $500,000.
Yeah.
Shave Keezy's face on the cyber, keep the mustache. That was a weird one when she put that one on there too.
Yeah, that was weird, but you got to do what you got to do. You get a bit of these.
Whatever makes her happy.
Exactly.
I suppose.
Did you see how many people were standing outside the stadium like celebrating that Kyrie was back though? It was like an army of people in purple shirts.
He's a twat, man.
We talked about this last time. I think it was Ben, I can't remember because Ben Boyce, he's away. I think it was him saying that he reckons Kyrie's all go. He's like a good guy. He's in the clear and stuff, and he reckons like no dramas play on Kyrie Irving. Yeah. I think that's what he was saying.
Didn't he reshare Kyrie's tweet?
Yeah, he did.
No. Kyrie, the thing that he shared was actually from Ben Boyce.
Yeah. And then Ben Boyce reshared that Kyrie reshared because he was so proud of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the blue tick. That's why Kyrie saw it as well.
Obviously.
So
Just quickly before we move off the Nets, the Nets are, to me, have you watched the latest season of House of the Dragon?
Watched a couple of episodes, but go on.
Okay, so I don't like it because it's a good show, but everyone in it, there is not one single character that I like. They're all twats.
Okay.
That is the Nets.
What about Watanabe?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, Yuta Watanabe's he's the man.
Shooting 57% 3 points.
I liked him back when he was on the Jazz or whatever. Yeah, Yuta's the man.
Yeah.
Yuta man.
And
That's a good nickname.
That was an accident. That was a complete accident.
Also, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a guy from Japan who tweeted to the Nets, and he was like, Nets, we love you here in Japan. Thank you for looking after our boy Yuta. Can you please do something about his contract? He deserves to be on more.
Mean.
Yeah.
So he was at the Jazz, was it? The Utah Jazz.
Yeah, Yuta. So we're going to trade you the Jazz. He's like, oh, nah, babe.
So, mate, if you come to the Jazz, we'll give you the naming rights as well.
Yeah, the Utah Jazz.
No, I've got nothing else to add to that. I don't want to ruin that moment. So we'll just... Oh, actually, before we move on, this is Kyrie's apology.
I don't have hate in my heart for the Jewish people or anyone that identifies as a Jew. I'm not anti-Jewish or any of that. And it's been difficult to sit at home with my family with them seeing all of this and having questions. You know, the part that hasn't been hard is explaining myself because I know who I am.
I mean, look, job done from what I hear. Job done getting back on the court. As we move on to our third item on the starting five, one of my second favourite things that I love to talk about France outside of the ham and cheese croissant is obviously Ngonyama Nengwe Wenbenyama, which was that's a line from The Lion King. It was cool. Anyway, how good is he?
I was like, that is not his first name.
Now, Victor's is a translation. From there, I think.
To Lion King from Ngonyama Wenbenyama. When he was on Sergi Barker's cooking show, apparently Giannis gave him a glowing review. Does that mean that he's going to be the future of the NBA? Is it concerning that there are so many Europeans that are playing way better than all the Americans in the NBA so far? Discuss.
I think it's very concerning. Like I
What do you
feel
mean
like
concerning?
America
As
needs
a
to be the
patriot,
best.
yeah.
As a proud Middle Western American who was wearing his MAGA hat all the time, this is very concerning.
We may as well talk about this now because so Spain actually moved to number one in the rankings of the FIBA. I think it is FIBA rankings. They overtook USA for the first time in years. And I was looking at like potential teams for a Euro 5 versus a US 5. And honestly, at the moment, the Euro 5, they would win.
That's great.
Yeah, you got the likes of Luka, Giannis, Jokic, the three best players in the NBA pretty much.
Damn.
And then you got Lauri Markkanen, who's carving it up at the moment. He's from Finland. You also got Vucevic, Sabonis, Porzingis.
Porzingers.
Yeah.
Pour some zingers.
Zinger burgers.
Zinger Burgers, and so many other players as well. So
I love the fact, because I'm so sick of, I love the NBA, don't get me wrong, but I'm sick of them saying they're world champs. You know, like the World Series when you win the baseball, like it's the biggest event in the world with the Super Bowl when no one else plays the frickin' sport. I also love that shitty franchises like the Kings passed on Luka Doncic, and they went for Marvin Bagley, and he went down to 7th or something. And it's like, yo, this guy's going to be a future, like, not even all-star, but like Hall of Fame player, and you guys went, nah, he's not from America, we don't trust him.
I was actually looking because I was like wondering yesterday. I was like, why was Luka not number one? And Ayton went before him.
Yeah.
And then then
And
Marvin
he's a
Bagley.
giant pussy.
I know, and it's like you must be regretting that massively. Even
Massively.
even not even getting Trae Young.
Sorry, DeAndre, massive listener of the Benchwarmers podcast. So.
Yeah, but
no
get in
offense.
there,
He's
man.
a special.
You're 7 foot. You're massive. Get in there. He shoots no free throws because he's not aggressive at all. If that was me, I'd be averaging 30 and 15, and like 6 blocks.
You know, he's actually not from the USA as well. He's from Bahamas.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a fun fact for you.
Hey, thanks for that. Can I put up a team that goes up
Don't wanna be
against
so
this,
chill.
this
Yeah, carry on.
Europe, rest of the world, and the USA team?
Yeah.
Could I actually put up the Kardashian Jenner X's starting five?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is the team you're looking at here: Devin Booker,
Good.
Ben Simmons,
Okay.
Blake Griffin,
Bad.
Tristan Thompson,
Bad.
James Harden.
Good. What about Clarkson?
Oh, I thought about putting
You gotta
Jordan
put him in
Clarkson
there.
in.
Clarkson's probably more informed than Griffin and Thompson.
Thompson's
more.
washed.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin is my all-time favorite player because I'm a massive Clippers fan.
Yeah.
I came on board when he was drafted. Him and Chris Paul are like my boys, and he is gas.
Have you guys heard the conspiracy? This is a bit of a theory, but Lana
Be
Rhodes.
careful, Joel. We know what it's like with conspiracies
yeah.
on podcasts, all right? So
I
it's
know,
not.
but you know Lana Rhodes. I know because you were showing me Lana Rhodes last week, the adult entertainer. So she has a kid. So she
Oh, is that the one that does pornos?
Yeah. But so she actually has she has a kid with an NBA player from the Nets. That's all everyone knows. But no one knows who it is. And,
Utah, you slippery son of a bitch.
well, and it does look like low-key half-cast. And the rumor mill is spinning. They reckon it's definitely Blake Griffin.
No, I thought they were saying it was KD.
KD and Blake Griffin are the two names I've heard.
Well, I think you'll be able to tell. If it's got curly ginger hair, it's Blake Griffin. It does. If it's got 8-foot long arms, it's KD.
Well, it's hard to tell, but I was just wondering if you guys had any input on that.
If
But
it's got ashy elbows, it's Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And it's got shitty ass knees, then it's Blake Griffin.
If he's just sort of there filling in a spot, it's Royce O'Neal's. It's pretty easy to figure out what's going on.
okay, well, we'll follow that up later on the podcast. Hopefully, maybe later on in the series actually.
One thing that actually brings me joy, and it's quite nice as we move on to our fourth topic for the starting five, is seeing a personality man from the NBA such as Dwight Howard
D12.
go over to the, what was he, like, Shanghai League or something?
Taiwan.
Taiwan. And drop a staggering 38 points, 25 boards, 9 assists to go along with the block party of 4. Ya boy looking good.
Oh, okay. Dwight Howard is low-key one of my favorite all-time players. He's got a great personality. He's bubbly, but he's a bit of a sookie bubba, right? When he should be an absolute beast.
Like a star.
Yeah, he should be a star, and he thinks he should be a star. So the way he acted was always kind of annoying, especially with Kobe, blah, blah. But I always loved him because this dude will come out, get 20 and 20, shoot 1 of 10 from the free throw line, get a few blocks and stuff. I can see him the sheer size of him over there. They will give him the ball all the time, and he will score a lot of points every game.
He literally flicked his wrist, and one of the players fell off him. They were trying to press on him quite hard, and he just kind of went, and then ended up on the ground. And then he threw the sickest dime for the sickest bucket, and for Taiwan.
He wasn't even dunking. I was watching it. He was just like
was shooting mid-ranges.
I was like, oh, he must be carving up, just like slamming these dunks down. He was putting layups in as well. Have like open dunks going for layups.
Bro, my boy was almost throwing open threes. Like he was finding space so easily. It was weird to watch.
Let's get one thing clear. I think
Clear it up.
if any of us went over to the Taiwan League,
Yeah.
I reckon I could average like 12 and 6.
You probably
couple of
could've.
threes.
12 turnovers.
On at least 40%
6
shooting.
minutes.
Oh, a few turnovers,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
time,
yeah.
Gassed, massively gassed. But I don't think the level of play, like, is he playing in the Taiwanese league, not even the Chinese league?
Yeah.
Yeah, Taiwan.
Yes. It's like him coming and playing for the Breakers. No, the Breakers would be better
Breakers
than
would
them.
be way better.
Way
Yeah.
better than them, yeah. So,
Especially the run that they're on at the moment.
exactly. So we'd have to just keep that in mind. But at the same time, good on you, D12. Good to see him still out there.
And just finally, our starting five. Boys, let's talk about the Sacramento Kings. The Bean team, so to speak. What?
Oh, this is just the first time I've ever heard anyone talk positively about that franchise, so please.
Yeah,
I
well,
can't
you
wait to
after
hear
talking
this.
shit about them about like 5 minutes ago, we move on to the Bean team, who are on a 8 win streak at the moment.
I think it's 9 and 2, but 6 in a row.
Oh, 6 in a row, sorry. 6 in a row. And apparently it's all got to do with them trying to contact Batman during the games and send up the beam of light up into the sky. They haven't lost since they started that.
Yeah. They are looking good. Like De'Aaron Fox, he is a player. They got Sabonis, player.
All right, seriously
Monk
though,
player.
these are the teams they're beating. Cleveland, decent. Lakers, terrible. Golden State Warriors, terrible. Brooklyn, terrible. San Antonio Spurs, terrible. Detroit, terrible. So that's the thing that always happens is they get on win streaks. I know because I've supported shit teams in the past as well. I love that they're contacting Batman. You know what I mean? But they ain't playing. Who are they playing next? Memphis, Atlanta, and then Boston. They will definitely lose to Boston. And
Can we just, I reckon they might beat them.
And my boy Steven Adams is going to end their misery in their very next game against Memphis. That's just my opinion. But you're pro Sacramento.
Can you take that back, please?
What?
The Lakers aren't terrible. Okay? They're the future champions.
And also the Golden State Warriors. They might not be in form, but they were the champs last year.
No, they're
man.
playing terrible right now is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right now they're terrible.
yeah.
But
Win
the
yesterday?
Lakers are going to win.
The Lakers, I've got Anthony Davis in our fantasy league, Storm, and I've massively been watching a lot of Lakers highlights and things, but they are terrible. They've won a few games recently.
Terrible now. They're about to go on a 30-win streak.
4-10, yes.
They're about to go on a 30-win streak.
Well, I hope so. I'm rooting for them.
They're about to break the record. Everyone's going to be there at the end of the season go, I can't believe we wrote off the Lakers.
Eyebrows.
I reckon the best thing.
Not going to be into that.
So the best thing about the Kings, they're like ESPN did a power ranking of all the USA sports team for 4 different for sports like basketball, baseball, hockey, and I can't even fucking whatever the other one is. And they were ranked 124th out of 124 teams in America.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and they haven't made the finals since 2004.
They are garbage. Every decision
How
they
good would
make
it be
is
if
garbage.
if they make them this year? They'll be awesome.
When they made the finals, who was it? Was it Divac? Was he the...
Vlade Divac
Yeah.
was in there. He's now the GM, and he's an idiot. They were awesome when they had
He's a big listener to the podcast,
Jason Williams, I think, who used to do
Yeah.
the round the back passes
Yeah.
and stuff. But since then, Fox,
Bibby was the one that led
Bibby
them
was
at
the
that
man.
point.
Fox is cool, but doing stuff like trading away Tyrese Halliburton.
Sabonis is pretty
Oh,
good
yeah.
though, but Halliburton is great.
everywhere that Sabonis goes, the teams lose
Yeah.
because he sucks on defense.
Harrison Barnes is playing good.
Harry B, my boy.
I just picked up Harry B on our fantasy. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I love watching Storm go in and out of picking up Harrison Barnes. Always cracks me up. Get a little alert.
Yeah. Oh, I really dig it.
It's like, yo, Storm's got back to the well.
Hey, just briefly, we did touch on the Euro team.
Yeah.
Did you mention the rest of the world?
There was a rest of the world team that I saw, and
Tom Abercrombie, captain.
well, the only Kiwi that actually comes close is Adams, obviously. But there's 40 teams, 40 different nations of people in the NBA.
Whoa.
Which is interesting.
Whoa.
You got
Stat bunker. Stat bunker.
Sounds like the stonker of the round to me.
completely different ACC sting. No, but Joel Embiid, he's not from America. You probably know that.
Cameroon? Or something
Yes,
like that?
Cameroon. SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
He's
Canadian. Same as Andrew Wiggins and Lou Dort.
Well, to be honest, if we're lumping Canada in there, we've got a bloody good team straight away.
Al Horford, Dominican Republic.
Ooh.
Kyrie Irving and Simmons, Australia, I'm sure. And then you also got Matisse Thybulle.
Kyrie doesn't
Josh
count.
Giddey's from Australia.
Yeah, Josh Giddey's from Australia.
Kyrie doesn't count.
OG Anunoby is from UK.
Anunoby.
And Clint Capella, Switzerland. And then you got like all these
Nailed
random
that one.
ones. I guess Switzerland's part of Europe. But,
Is Switzerland where they make Lindt chocolate? Because
It
you
is,
could
yeah.
call him Lindt Capella.
you
It's
could.
just no, that might be considered racist. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Quick, move on, quick. Play the stonker of the round.
Tell us about the USA team. What do you reckon?
The US, I was actually like, I left this up to interpretation, but I feel like you'd have Curry in there, you'd have KD, Tatum. Who else would be in the USA team? Booker?
Steph?
Oh,
Steph,
Booker,
yes.
Steph, yeah.
No, you got to have Steph. You got to have LeBron. You have to have KD.
Yeah.
You know, there's those guys. Oh,
Oh, Trey?
Trey Young?
Put Trey in there?
Ja Morant?
Oh.
Jars be the
Too many
closest,
guards,
yeah.
man.
It would be interesting if they did
AD?
instead of an all-star game,
Definitely Anthony
USA
Davis.
instead of East versus West that literally no one cares about. How good would a USA versus rest of the world? That would be such a good game.
Yeah, man.
That would be a really good game, actually. They do it with the Rising Stars, don't they? They do
Yeah,
USA
was it?
versus
Yeah.
rest of the world.
And that
Yeah.
game is sick.
It is sick. It's sick.
Sickening. Well, you can do your own one as we head off to take a quick break here on the Benchwarmers podcast live from the Export Beer Garden studio. Welcome back to the Benchwarmers podcast live from the Export Beer Garden studio. We want to get into a little bit of fantasy chat, but I think producer Adam's kind of zhuzhed up a little bit of a sting there.
Actually, before he plays this, he was telling us this is the best sting he's ever made in his life.
He
and
said,
that-
send us on to the radio awards.
Yeah, he said, usually I just steal stuff from Mad Monday and then put new stuff on it. But he's assured us that this is the best thing he's ever made.
Hey there. What's your fantasy?
Jesus.
Sorry, fantasy basketball? Yeah, Basketball.
Isn't that just the die Henwood off the back fence? No, that's amazing.
Stop putting your Mad Monday shit in there. It's the Benchwarmers podcast.
Whose sexy voice was that?
Who was the chick?
Oh, at the end. Oh, that was Azura.
Oh, that was you and Azura.
Yeah.
That was live from the.
was a live stream.
Fantasy chat. Adam, you had the reins of the Benchwarmers fantasy team as we're in the Shapiro's league. We're three from three on the trot so far. So you took week 4.
What's the name of the team?
Benchwarmers.
It's just
Benchwarmers,
the ACC, the Benchwarmers. But we're 4-0.
Wait!
We won 7-2. It was a bit of a stitch up. I wasn't expected to get thrown the team from Ben, which made sense at the time. But Joel definitely stitched me up on that day because there was no changes made to the team, and there was like 3 guys on the bench, and I was thinking,
Joel.
I was thinking, it's going to be tough here. I'm going to have to claw this back. But Storm, I think you did an absolute job on the team because I literally did nothing.
Can you read the team out? Because I don't know who's on it.
Okay,
And just also for context, Storm is in our fantasy league and he's drafted an absolute shitter of a team. So I'm just really interested.
Have you won a game yet, Storm?
I have not won. Can I swear on this? Can we swear on the podcast?
You can swear, man.
I've won fuck all.
Are you 0-5?
I'm 0-5.
Wow, that's embarrassing.
This last week,
That's
I
why we're
lost
kicking you off the
8-1.
podcast, mate.
Yeah, but this is where you do your best work on this one here.
Yeah. So from the top, our team is Marcus Smart,
Oh, shit.
Clarkson,
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell,
Donovan.
Mitchell, Bogdan Bogdanovic,
Yeah.
Wagner from Orlando, Franz Wagner,
Franz Wagner. Yeah.
Yep. DeMar DeRozan,
Mean.
Rudy Gobert,
Mean.
Zubac,
Yep.
Jalen Brunson,
Yep.
I picked up Bobby Portis this week because we needed some boards.
Sure.
Steph Curry,
Yeah.
Sabonis,
Yeah.
and
Ja
Morant, and we had the last one is Gary Trent Jr.
I didn't draft him. I don't think.
I think Ben picked him up a couple weeks ago, but
He's mean for steals and threes. That's a pretty good team. And it's an 8-person league.
It's an 8-man league. Yeah.
What I'd like to do next season, when the Benchwarmers is still going strong, is to have my own personal team in that league, and I'm going to be like the rogue bad guy of the league. And my sole purpose is to try and beat the Benchwarmers.
Bad at fantasy.
Well, it feels
Yeah,
like
well-
everyone else in that league is pretty shit. Because
I'll come in and dominate everyone.
Because when I looked after the team, I actually completely forgot to do subs the whole week, and we still won.
Wow, that sounds like a real
That's how
great
good that
league.
team is.
That's a good
I-
league.
or-
1 to 12.
Or Storm's just done an amazing job. Either. Or is that you still going with that job?
Let's go with that.
Yeah, so I'm taking it next week. Are you still going to do it? Some you probably won't. It'd probably be a bit weird if you're still doing it.
Bro, you're lucky if I'm even thinking about this podcast after this record.
He will be.
Okay, so I'll do it next week, and yeah, I guess we'll feedback. How's everything going with you guys' personal
Mine
fantasies?
sucks ass.
Personal
Sorry.
life.
Storm sucks ass.
Check.
My team, and this is the really funny thing about my team, is I'm about to read you a squad of dudes who would have dominated in 2017. CJ McCollum, Paul George, Al Horford, John Wall, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis. Those are all top level players from 5 years ago who I would be unstoppable. Unfortunately, they're all held together with duct tape now. But right now, the wheels haven't fallen off. I think I'm 4th in our league, and it's a very competitive league.
Yeah.
Let me have a look.
Storm, I think Storm's last.
I'm bottom. I am bottom of the table. I am 12 with 16 games behind. Yep, you are currently in 4th place.
Yeah. And to be honest, the reason I lost one, I've only dropped one round so far, and it was because I just had, Kawhi Leonard out, AD was out for a bit, had a lot of
It's
injuries.
the worst performing I've ever done in this. I can't.
Oh, well.
I feel like
Benchwarmers is going to be my pride and glory.
I'm going great with that. If anyone cares, or
Go, hit us.
Oh, go on then if you...
SGA, the Canadian, my favorite Canadian player. He's just carving it up. He's just been unreal for the Thunder. Last week, did you see the game winner he hit against the Wizards?
Was
I
it a
think
three-pointer as well?
3-pointer, and he got 42, 7 and 6, and like a few blocks,
Yeah.
fucking few steals. He's doing it all.
I'd just
And then-
like to say that he was drafted by the Clippers,
yeah.
and
No,
I was
actually, incorrect. He wasn't.
Was he not? Was he traded to the Clippers?
I thought that as well. Yeah, he was drafted at number 11th by another team,
And then an instant swap to the
an
Clippers.
instant trade to the
Yeah.
Clippers. But yeah, he was drafted to the Charlotte Hornets.
Ah, classic
And then
Charlotte.
yeah, and then he was a part of the Clippers fuck up with
Hey,
Paul
real
George.
quick.
Yeah.
Should I keep Jose Alvarado?
Yeah.
Oh, now 12-man league.
Yeah.
Sure, man. What do you want to do? Get wins?
Yeah. I want
Oh,
dubs.
then nah, bro. Get rid of him.
I picked him up thinking that he was going to do
Bro,
something cool.
unfortunately, you're in the position where, like, I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference.
I blew my load on the draft.
Yeah.
We did an auction draft
Yeah,
where you
did
have
an auction.
$200. Yeah. And actually, I was very jealous of your team because you went for Luka Doncic. Who's the guy you just traded to me? Edwards, Anthony Edwards,
yeah.
and Ja Morant, 3 young stars.
Yeah.
But Edwards hasn't popped off.
Ja's
been
injured.
great.
Ja's been injured.
He's
And, yeah.
injury prone. I saw. Yeah. What were you gonna say about SGA, sir?
Oh, I was just going to say, so he was obviously not drafted by the Clippers, but he ended up there, spent his rookie season there. That was the season where we had Tobias Harris, Danilo Gallinari, Montrez Harrel was playing mean. We had Toby and Boban Marjanovic.
yeah.
And it was like, we had this awesome little thing there. And the Clippers were actually getting wins. And we were doing that thing where we show off our trade pieces before you trade Tobias Harris to the Philadelphia 76ers on a ridiculous contract. And Shea was playing like meaningful minutes, and he was getting a block a game at least, or 2. He was shooting at least 1-3 and getting a steal. And I was like, yo, this dude's like a fantasy beast. But he just hasn't put it all together until now. And what do you reckon the chances of him being a top 5 player at the end of the year are?
He is a top 5 player
At
currently.
the end of the year, though, because OKC, they're tanking, blah, blah, injuries, you know.
That's the thing. He is quite injury prone as well, and
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of the season, if they're like, "Oh shit, we could actually bloody tank now," like they'll just let him ride it out. I think they're still coming 8th or something though.
Yeah, they're actually doing a lot better because I think they've got a really good coach.
Yeah.
Because it's really frustrating because I've got picked him up because Storm actually drafted him originally, Pokachevsky. Don't
tell me, is he balling?
Yeah, he's starting to ball. a little
I
bit.
saw him. He's balling.
He's averaging like 3 blocks a game, but he's just hurt his ankle a wee bit. But what the coach does is, and I've watched a couple of their games because I wanted to watch Shea.
Yeah.
And if your team starts losing with certain players on the court, he'll just pull those players off, put new ones on. If they start winning again, he'll just stick with those guys.
Oh, yeah.
There's no like concrete starting 5. And it's actually working for OKC. Did we just actually get into like some real hard out basketball chat just then?
Yeah, just
Far out, man.
I would actually love to see OKC tank and get Victor though. Because
You want to see them tank?
Well, I do
That would have
like
an amazing
I
team.
like SGA and they got shit as well coming through.
They ain't got shit.
Shit. Yeah. So so hopefully they get Victor.
But you don't ever want to see a team tank though. You don't want to see them tank.
Oh yeah, no. Well, fucking talking about tanking, Jazz, they were supposed to be tanking and now they're like literally the best tank.
Once again, good coaching. You know what I mean? They've got the talent.
Also no egos as well, I feel like as well.
I mean, the Cavs did it way back in like from 2010, 2011, and 12 when they picked up Kyrie. They had Wiggy. They managed to get Bennett as well. Like they got all the number 1 draft picks.
Wow,
and they still
Bennett
played like shit.
wasn't.
Yeah, what happened to him?
He was the guy that was drafted ahead of KD, was it?
Yeah.
No, that was Portland that drafted them.
No, it wasn't was it Bennett? Was he the guy that was drafted number 1? Was it
and
an absolute
Anthony
flop?
Bennett.
No,
Anthony
he
Bennett
was
a-
100% number 1, and he
Yeah,
lasted
yeah.
like 3 years in the
That
league
was
or something.
Portland that got him because they have the 2 worst draft picks in history, which is when Michael Jordan's draft class was up, Hakeem Olajuwon went number 1, and then Big Sam Bowie went number 2, which was by Portland,
yeah.
and then Michael Jordan was 3. And they did the same thing with Kevin Durant and Anthony Bennett.
Non-stat bunker!
The 2013 NBA draft, Anthony Bennett was number 1,
Yeah.
and then Victor Oladipo number 2. CJ McCollum was 10th. Michael Carter-Williams, Giannis was 15th.
Michael Carter-Williams won the Rookie of the Year for that one too.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert, Steven Adams was in there.
Trash.
Oh, he did too.
Yeah.
He was the man for Philly.
Yeah, it had one good season. Everyone thought he was going to be like the it thing,
Yeah.
and then blah.
I just like to clarify, I was talking about Greg Oden.
Yeah,
Greg.
Oden. Yeah, never
Bless
heard
him.
of him.
Have you seen that video of him? He's walking around a random university, and this old lady comes up to him, and she was like, "Oh, you're a basketball player, aren't you?" He's like, "I used to be." She's like, "Oh, I bet you were good." He's like, "Yeah." Brought a smile on his face because he knew he'd blown his chance to be great in the NBA. He was a freak in college. Absolute freak. That's why he deserved to be number 1. And that wrapped up our 6 years fantasy chat. But let's see what all the shitters were with your alley-oops.
It's the big alley. Ooh, it's not the one, It's not the one.
Kicking things off with Josh Giddey, who we love, the Australian import. He's been playing very well. I think he's got a future to be. Do you reckon he's going to be an All-Star?
It's a big claim.
Josh Giddey?
It probably will be though. The way he gets triple doubles with ease.
Yeah.
He's
I feel
point
like-
guard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good point guards, though. That's what you got to think about. Is he getting in ahead of Steph Curry?
Was he a rookie last year?
Was he in the East?
He was a rookie last year.
He was a
He's
rookie
from
last
OKC. Yeah,
So it's
'cause-
the East.
No, it's from the West.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm literally thinking of my north, south, east, west, back to front. He's from the West, and out West, there's a lot of good players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of good PGs, although not everything tends to go well with Josh Giddey, especially with inbound passes.
And right now, Giddey, a turnover inbounding the ball. A turnover you basically never see as Giddey hit the under.
In theory, though, if he was standing in, it would have counted as a legit thing. It's just because he passed it and he caught it while he was standing out. But if he passed it and he was standing in to himself, you can do that.
You can do that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we've all had brain fart moments on the field or on the court, haven't we?
Oh, big time.
Especially Joel.
Indoor netball all the time.
Really?
Big time.
Can I tell you about a brain fart moment I had on the rugby field?
Yeah.
Playing for the Takapuna Prem Bees. And I received the ball out wide and I was down a little bit of space. This is me playing hooker at the time. And we're in hour 22. Going to score a try, and I thought it'd be really cool. And I went back to my days of playing like rugby on the back of the Gisborne Boys High School oval, and I tried to banana kick back inside.
Oh, like Carlos.
Yeah. So I was down the line, and I thought, this is going to be sick. Banana kick back inside. They caught it on the full, called the mark, and then ran 100 meters to score a try.
Oh, it's sick.
So do you see Joel Embiid? No.
And the guy on the sideline, he goes, props don't kick, bro. Props don't kick.
You sure you didn't
Just
yell?
as I was walking back. Oh.
Alley oops.
Yeah, that was a massive alley. Oops. Oh, straight up. Anyway, fuck you guys. And that wraps up the Benchwarmers podcast for today. Before we get out of here, NPM, you got any last words?
Yeah, I noticed in here, one last alley-oops there. Embiid dropping the shoulder in a classic Sonny Bill style tackle on Giannis.
Yeah.
I believe we have some audio for that as well.
Oh, man. Oh, that's going to be a flagrant. And I think that might be a flagrant, too.
That was not a basketball play.
That
Put
is
the forearm to it.
Wow. I mean, that angle in particular, oh, yeah. 100% flagrant, too.
I'm sorry, but you
Was this from the game?
You could re-edit that audio into like some sort of sensual thing of Doris Burke.
Oh, you would
man.
talk about porn all the time, eh?
Oh, man.
Oh, no, don't bring that into this podcast, please.
I
We're
try.
not that type of podcast.
Wait, you were happy
no.
to bring your Mad Monday shit into here.
Yeah, by the way, listen to the Noob Squad when you get a chance.
Keezy, anything from you?
No, look, I'm just, I was not going to watch any NBA this season. I was roped into it last minute, and I'm glad to be back. I'm absolutely loving it now that there's no sort of COVID annoyances and there's no people building super teams because the wheels fell off the nets and all that. I really like that. And if you guys ever need me to fill in, I'll give you my agent's number.
Sick. And with that is another wrap up on the Benchwarmers podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll sign out permanently now. I think you'll have probably Keys. Someone's going to be here for the rest of the week. Have a good one and be good and cigar.
We'll be looking the waivers.
Well, I think we need to tell. So you are leaving, right?
I'm gone.
You're leaving.
I'm
no
leaving.
more Storm.
No more Storm.
No more Storm ever.
But I've only just done one podcast with you. I feel so attached.
I think this is your dress rehearsal, to be completely honest.
So you good to anchor next week, Keys? Oh shit, the mic's still on.
Just plug Keezy and he'll sort it out. Jesus. Yeah, I'll be back.